Hello, this is Josh Groban, and you are watching Billboard. After having been on tour for a year, that's a great way to start working on a project because you feel the energy of what's working in real time every night. And feeling that great energy, I'm thinking, this rush I'm getting right now, this live, exciting, vibrant energy that I'm getting on stage is how I want the next record to feel. Everything is recorded live. That's one thing that Groban kind of got me into, which was the idea of if you capture a moment of everybody playing it together, it can be really, really magical. Togs and I really hit a creative stride this time around, and we just kept writing. He's so versatile. And Brave was, I think, the fourth or fifth thing we came up with. It didn't feel like a particularly inspiring day. I remember the day we wrote it, and we were just kind of laying around and playing Sudoku, and all of a sudden he found this sample on the keyboard. It was this string sample, and I just kind of started playing that. And he's like, "What's that?" And he started kind of strumming on the thing, and just kind of, I sang the first few words of the song. It just all of a sudden felt like we had the first kind of nucleus of something that could be really inspirational and really fun. As people started listening to it, they were like, "Yeah, this is a good first single. This is, you know, especially Wake Up, Wake Up being the first lyric, it just kind of felt like, all right, we're back." False Alarms was a song that I was so happy that it found a home on this record. It's a song that I'd written for Illuminations. I wrote all the lyrics to it too, and I don't usually write lyrics, and certainly I usually don't write all the lyrics. I definitely think much more musically, and I need somebody to help me with how do I then make that literal. With False Alarms, I was going through something, and I liked it because it was romantic and it was hopeful, but at the same time it wasn't about a perfect situation. It was actually about kind of heartbreak and kind of the gray area and all the stuff that happens when you're chasing after something that's just not there. But I think there can be great growth from that and a great kind of hopefulness from that. And I think that the song, the reason I like the song so much is that it balances both the sadness and the hopefulness of it. So I've been waiting to sing this song ever since I heard Glenn Hansard do it in the movie, of course. You know, when you do a cover, you want to pay homage to what the original true version is, but, you know, add your own thing. So we added, I think there's a little more of a rhythm element to this version than there was in the original, less folk, a little more sung out, almost a little bit more like the Broadway version of it. It's just, I mean, it's just a heartbreaking, wonderful song, and it's the kind of song I would sing at any karaoke, and finally got to sing it on an album. I've always had a kind of a soft spot for Irish music. I love going to Ireland. You know, I'm a sucker for a bagpipe, and you know, I just think that many of those older Irish songs just have such a great pathos and haunting kind of quality about them. I was looking at songs by Richard Thompson. There was a live version of him playing this song, and I just heard him singing it, just solo, him and guitar, and I just thought, gorgeous songs. We got in there. I got my friend Eric Rigler, who is kind of the master bagpiper of all time. We had Rob and Tim Pierce on guitars playing kind of a 12-string, Gail Levant on harp doing Celtic harp, and then we just went through it. We just sang it a couple times, and it was just one of those songs that sings itself. Below the Line is another Togs collaboration. We were hanging at my apartment. I was actually fasting that day because there was an organization called Below the Line that challenged people to live below the line, below the poverty line for a day. I kind of rarely throw political messages and things like that into songs, but this was a song that I felt was inspiring on the day and continues to be. And I'm glad that not only was I able to raise awareness that day for the organization, but a song came out of it as well. E ti prometterò. I wrote the melody with Lester Mendez and also with Togs. Togs is all over this record. We wrote it and I sang it, and then as I listened back to a demo vocal that I'd done, I started singing a harmony on top of it. I started singing kind of a girl harmony. I do a really great girl voice. It's because I'm a castrati. It's a secret of mine. And everybody kind of turned and went, "What? Like that's a cool harmony." And I really felt like having a great female voice just would make the song better. I've been wanting to sing with Laura Pausini for ages. She's one of the first superstar singers that I met when I was 18 years old through David Foster, and we've always been in touch. And she brings her vibe to it and her incredible voice, and she did everything that I could have possibly wanted on this song. She just nailed it. Through the mountains and the pines. So many people cover Jimmy Webb songs, but I like his versions. You know, he may not have the most perfect tone, but there's a pathos to the way he sings his songs that I think is really great to kind of work off of. When I first heard Jimmy Webb's version of it, I just thought, I want to sink my teeth into this song. It just had everything that I liked in a song, which is that kind of haunting quality, a little bit of a darker side to it, but also kind of poetic and romantic too. Everything is correct in the way that he arranges already, so we just kind of added our thing to it, and it was a beautiful, beautiful song to sing. So I wrote this song with Lesnar Mendez, and we were kind of playing with rhythms and playing with guitar parts, and when Claudia wrote the lyric, it took on a whole different vibe. It had a very almost spiritual quality to it. And then we had a spot in the middle that we wanted to have a solo of some sort. I thought, oh, you know, wish list. You know, hey Lester, what do you think? What are the chances are of getting Arturo Sandoval to play on this song, because it would be so perfect for him. And he said yes, and we went to his house, and he's got a studio there. And you know, I remember him saying, "Hey, you like cigars?" I said, "Yeah, I love cigars. I don't smoke them very often, but you know, they're great." He goes, "You know, Fuente cigars?" I said, "Yeah, are you kidding? Fuente? You know, yes, absolutely." He goes, "He's my best friend." Cool. He's like, "I got this." He goes, "Hey, I want you to have a few of these." So he gives me a handful of cigars that say Arturo Sandoval Private Reserve, rolled by Fuente's personal guy. And it was just that kind of day. We had a glass of red wine and just kind of had a really fun time. We took his first take. He did it a few times, but he didn't need to. His first take is what's on the record. And he brought a vibe to it. It's just going to be, again, a really fun song to do live. I know these walls are crumbling and I won't stay to watch them. Another Talks collaboration. We wrote this song, I want to say 4 years ago now. It kind of had almost a little bit of a country vibe to it. It's about being blinded by love and in all the wrong ways. Saying to yourself, sometimes you can get comfortable in discomfort. You can get really attached to the things that make you really depressed in a relationship, and it almost becomes like a safety blanket. The song is basically about kind of finding the strength to say, you know, come on, look yourself in the mirror, splash yourself with cold water. There's no reason to be happy in this heartache. Hollow Talk, really interesting. It's by a band called Choir of the Young Believers, who are a Danish band, and they just kind of came up with a really interesting story. It's more of a story and journey than it is like a proper song. It goes through all these kind of unconventional twists, and it really, really, really rocks in the middle. And so I liked the dynamic of it, and when we started doing it with the orchestra, it just felt just awesome. The song is just kind of interspersed with these street noises, and we just thought, oh, this is nuts, but it actually added a really cool kind of element to the song. Sincera is a song that I wrote with my good friend Walter Afanasieff, who's a real legend in the industry. Known mostly in his production and writing for his pop and R&B stuff, but he's got like piano hands like Rachmaninoff. All my best, I think, Italian classical style songs have been collaborations with Walter. He wrote the first song I ever recorded, called Giro con me with David Foster on my first record. We wrote a song Per te together. He's like a master of interesting chord changes. So this song is no exception, and again, Marco wrote the lyric, and we just wanted to do a really great, big, classical style song. Stevie Wonder writes these universally epic melodies that are a bit genreless. He's genreless. We just felt like this was a great, positive, uplifting message to end a record that kind of takes on every shade of love. We were going to fade it out at the end, and we decided, going back to like what we learned from the live experience, how do we make this, if we were going to end the show with this song, how would we end the album with this song? So I said, I think we should have a big drum crash at the end of this. So the whole last 30 seconds is me on the drums, and which is great. To have a Groban, Abel Laboriel Jr. drum collaboration on the song is an honor I will not soon forget.